Gary Manson is the founder of the Gary Manson Quartet, which started in 1954. At the age of 9, Gary Manson began to practice playing the piano. Even then, he decided for himself that he wanted to connect his life with music. So he entered the Juilliard School of Music in the late 40s, located in New York. There, at the local university orchestra, he met Bill Rogers, who later became a member of the Gary Manson Quartet. The Gary Manson Quartet began their joint activities in 1954. The members of this group are Gary Manson, Bill Rogers, Jimmy Young, George Cartano. Gary, as we know, you met saxophonist Bill Rogers during your university years. Tell us more about your friendship and how you came up with the idea of creating a quartet.
At the time of our acquaintance, we did not yet know where our mutual passion for music would lead. It all started at the morning rehearsal, where I noticed him. Several years have passed. Even after graduating from university, we kept in touch. We were even more united by our passion for jazz. We often visited jam sessions where we talked with the same novice musicians. In this Milton's Playhouse, Bill Rogers and I performed together with other guest artists. In these walls, on one of these recordings after the performance, we met Jimmy Young. We decided to try to create something like a band. Things got serious after our trip to California together. We entertained and performed at a nightclub on the West Coast. Once we witnessed a then still rare phenomenon in the performance of one musician. It was George Cartano who inspired us with his vibraphone playing. We didn't even think about combining vibraphone and other jazz instruments. At that moment, everything became very clear to us. We needed George Cartano for the full lineup of the group.
Really exciting story. You mentioned that your quartet was inspired by California and cool jazz. Is there anything else that has greatly influenced your work? Maybe some individual famous personalities in the same musical direction?
If we continue with the theme of cool jazz, it is worth mentioning the legend of jazz, Miles Davis. He began to develop in this direction a little earlier than our quartet and has already gained great popularity in Europe. His Capitol Band recorded the key jazz album of the time, The Birth of the Cool. As I remember, they released it at the very end of the 40s. Personally, the composition Moon Dreams hooked me the most. This light sound of percussion and the lingering calmness of the trumpet plunges into a sleepy and pleasant state of my soul.
Tell us about your iconic and latest album, In a Slow Flow.
You are right that this album is significant for us. First of all, this is a reflection of the formation of our quartet. Some of the songs in the album are dedicated to meeting the guys from the quartet and our friendship. The other part completely immerses you in the essence of California, at the same time quiet and noisy, peaceful and energetic.
Can you tell us about your most memorable performance for you?
Well, I could probably mention two such performances. The first was, if I'm not mistaken, in 1968. It was one of the performances in one of the local California clubs called Lighthouse Cafe. Many cool jazz stars, such as Art Pepper and Shorty Rogers, have previously performed here. In those years, the cafe was already less popular for performances, but still considered a historical place for jazz. But that evening, we were able to attract the attention of many. This place was overcrowded. According to the owner, he had not seen such a crowd in his club for a long time. For this, he was grateful to us. The second performance was this year. We went to Berkeley to play at the Lower Sproul Plaza at the local university. It was our first charity performance. So many young jazz players and music lovers gathered in one place. It was inspiring and memorable.